In this video, we're going to talk about how to use our three major archetypes. That's the hero, the adult hero, and the nerd. How do we use those archetypes to answer interview questions? Listen, ideally, you can move a lot of your interview questions to your strong topics, your extracurricular focal point or your uncharted extracurricular, as well as your intellectual question focal point. Now, let's say that that's going to work for a lot of questions, but let's say there's some questions where it would just be like weird to misdirect it. You'll sense those, and those are going to be the personality type questions. Those questions aren't going to be ones where you want to redirect, but rather where you want to showcase the three archetypes: the hero, the adult hero, and the nerd. Now, just to review, the hero is marked by persistence, but he's recognized by the step into uncharted territory. The moment you step into uncharted territory, that's the heroic moment. Now, some folks might say, well, wait a second, why is it just a step? Shouldn't it be like after victory or something like that? Well, let me ask you this. What do you do on September 3rd? What did you do last September 3rd? How do you celebrate September 3rd? What do you get up to? What do you wear on September 3rd? You might be like, what are you talking about? What's September 3rd? September 3rd is the day that the American colonies actually got independence. What you celebrate is probably 4th of July. That's the day that they said they were going to get independence. That's the day that they stepped into uncharted territory. That was the inspiring moment. The adult hero is recognized by the fact that he rejects and repudiates the guide, and the nerd, of course, is recognized by curiosity about things that don't have any huge personal gain. So while the nerd's opposite, of course, the sociopath, while the sociopath would be very interested in what stock is going to go up in value, the nerd is going to be interested in the color blue, and the sociopath might not be. Again, the nerd is interested in things out of curiosity, not just self-interest. So in this video, we're just going to start out with one of the archetypes. We're going to start out with the hero. And the hero is recognized by the moment at which he steps into uncharted territory. I'm going to look at a few questions and show you how to answer them as the hero. I'm going to give you some wrong answers and see if we can correct them. So suppose I'm just looking at a list of common questions. Why this college? It's a common question for interviews. Why do you want to go to Harvard? And the correct answer has to do something with uncharted territory. You might say, let's say your intellectual focal point is SALT. You say, I want to go to Harvard because I want to explore the whatever new thing about SALT. It's just that simple. You don't have to overthink this. It's all about stepping into uncharted territory. Why do you want to major in whatever? Again, it's going to be about exploring the unknown. Your answer is always to explore the new thing in this, to explore the unknown in this, to discover new things in this, to push human understanding in this. Remember, uncharted doesn't mean you don't know it yet. Uncharted means the human race doesn't know it yet. And that's why research universities exist. They exist to explore uncharted territories. Uncharted territory, they call it research. We call it exploring uncharted territory. It's exactly the same thing. Where do you hope to be in 10 years? Again, if you want to answer it as the hero, you need to say, you would say something like, in 10 years, I hope to be exploring the cutting edge of fill in the blank. What have you read recently that has impacted or changed how you saw the world? I mean, that question basically is just asking you to talk about uncharted territory. And the key of that is to talk about what you learned from the book and then how you took it one step further. Many of these questions you can prepare for ahead of time. Other questions you can do in the moment if you want to. Of course, preparing ahead of time does make it easier, but in the moment, remember, the hero steps into uncharted territory. That's all he does. Tell me about a time when you had to work as part of a team. Again, you talk about how you led the team into some kind of uncharted territory. What strength will you bring to the university? Again, talk about your curiosity about exploring the uncharted, exploring the unknown, about stepping into the uncharted in some specific discipline. Any question can be answered by understanding the hero. In fact, you could answer every single question as the hero and it would work fine. It would be an amazing interview. Now I'm going to show you some wrong answers and see if you can figure out a way to correct them. Now let's say the question is, talk about a historical moment in time that you'd want to witness. And suppose that somebody says, I would want to witness the moment at which the Wright brothers finally flew and show that they were the best and they were right and they could fly. See what's happened over there? That answer is terrible because that answer is celebrating September 3rd, the day of victory, instead of July 4th, the moment of the uncharted. Here's how to fix that question. I would want to be there in the bike shop on the day that the Wright brothers decided that they were going to make a flying machine. See, that would show that you're interested in that initial step. Suppose they say, like, who's a historical figure that inspires you and why? Again, you'd want to talk about their step into the uncharted, not the day of final victory. The day of final victory, victory is the realm of the sociopath anyway, but the day of final victory, that's not the heroic moment. The heroic moment is the initial step into the uncharted. Now, a few caveats. To be the hero, you have to step into the uncharted. You yourself, with your own feet, need to step into the uncharted. Here's a common question. What, if you won the lottery, what would you do with the money? And you might get close but wrong and say something like, I would use it to fund research in whatever. Totally wrong. Listen, funding is not what people remember. I bet you know who painted the Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci. I bet you couldn't guess off the top of your head who funded the painting, who commissioned it. I've looked it up, I forget every time. Again, because I don't care, you don't care. We care about who stepped in the uncharted. So let's fix that. It's not I would fund research in. Say, if I won the lottery, I would hire a team and we together would explore whatever. You see the difference? Putting yourself as one of the explorers is what matters. We know that Christopher Columbus, discovered, for lack of a better word, the Americas. We kind of know that Ferdinand and Isabel funded it, but we don't really care about that. In America, there's never been a Ferdinand and Isabel day. There's been a Columbus day, right? Again, the explorers are the people who are inspiring. If you say, like, if you could do anything with one day, you get a whole day to do whatever you want, it should be about a step into the unknown, exploring the uncharted. And remember, the tricky part is, it can't be just unknown to you. It has to be unknown to the human race. Answering questions as the hero just means answering questions by focusing on the step into the uncharted. That's the July 4th moment. It does not mean focusing on victory. That's the September 3rd moment that nobody cares about. If you focus on stepping into the uncharted, you're going to be able to radiate the hero. And the hero, as we know, is the second most powerful archetype. The next video, I'm going to show you how you answer it as the adult hero. But even if you just use the hero, you'll have an amazing interview. You use these archetypes when you can use them when you're not able to make it about your extracurricular focal point or intellectual question focal point. But you can also use it to shape your answers if you can make it about the extracurricular focal point or the intellectual question focal point. Using the hero is incredibly powerful. It makes you seem more magnetic. It's going to make your interview more exciting. It's going to help you stand out and help you get in.